Hello again, everybody. This is Comic Book Hangover. It is time once again, as it is Friday. So that means it is time for Full Run Friday. This is the new series where every week I pick a different run in my collection. I've got about 40 to 50 collection drawer boxes. I've been collecting since 1990. I have probably close to 10,000 comics now, which, I'm going to be the first to admit I don't have the biggest or the best comic book collection in the world, or even in the country, or even the state. I mean, I'll even go so far as to say I don't have the best collection in my city. Actually, I know for a fact I don't. But what I do have, I am eager to share with everybody else out there who watches my videos. And so this is I think the fourth or the fifth edition of this. This is going to be Sensational She-Hulk. It's a 60-issue run, ran from 1989 to 1994 from Marvel Comics. And one of the things that made this series so unique was it was one of the first books, actually I think it probably was the first book, where the main character consistently acknowledged the fact that she was a comic book character. And it also toyed with the idea and the mechanics of what comic books are and how do they work. And there were instances where she was walking between panels and behind the panels and that sort of stuff. So everything that you see Deadpool and even Gwenpool doing today, the Sensational She-Hulk did it back in the late 80s, early mid-90s. So without further ado, let's go ahead and flip this camera around, and we're going to go through my 60-issue run, which are not all boarded, okay? There's a lot of these issues I don't have boarded yet because I'm in the process of switching over from long boxes to short boxes, and I'm going to be boarding a lot of them as I'm going along. This is a run that the full run is going to get boarded. But let's go ahead and talk about and share my full run of the Sensational She-Hulk. Okay, so here we go. Starting with, of course, the first issue, where she does, I love this, where she acknowledges that this is her second ongoing series. She did have, in her first appearance, was that book there, The Savage She-Hulk #1. And on here, otherwise, she says, okay, this is your second chance. If you don't buy my book this time, I'm going to come to your house and rip up all your X-Men. Because at the time, X-Men were the big dogs in the yard. They were it. And now I do have Savage She-Hulk. I do have two copies of that, issue 1. I've got one that's a newsstand and one that's a direct edition. I think my newsstand is graded at a 9294, or that might be my direct edition. I don't remember, but I've got one that's graded, and the other one is on its way to be graded. So I have both the direct edition and the newsstand. I didn't realize that's a newsstand. Savage She-Hulk #1, both graded. So, but I like that, and those cover blurbs where she does right off the bat acknowledge that she's a comic book character. Now, moving on to issue 2, she's reading the second issue of Incredible Hulk, and she says, "Boy, Cousin Bruce sure had to put up with a truckload of weirdos in his second issue." And she's talking about the Toadman, and in the background, she's got the Toadman coming for her. So that's cool. And of course, third issue is time for the obligatory guest star, and here he is now. The amazing, sensational 2099 Spider-Man or whatever, Web of Spider-Man. So that's cool. And she says, my golden age guest star is supposed to meet me here. Where is she? And it is the blonde bombshell, I believe it was. Like that. The Surgeon General's office has determined that this scene does not appear in this magazine. Back when they still referred to comic books as magazines. And a little Flintstones callback there. That, right there, Bong Vision. That means that this is, the guy there is Dr. Bong, who was a villain that was introduced in Howard the Duck. He was actually one of Howard the Duck's main villains. And he was a guy who had a giant bell for a head. And he had a bell, I don't know what you call it, a clapper, clacker, whatever, for a hand. And he would hit the bell on his head, and different tones would do different things. It was very interesting. Here's your Star Trek sort of homage cover. Well, not an homage cover, but they parody the logo there. Issue 7. I have no mouth, and I am mean. That's awesome. Number 8. This man is Nick St. Christopher, and he's here to help She-Hulk convict the most maniacal serial killer in New York City. See, he's the world's greatest detective. I like that. She's like, you're kidding, right? Gotta have Santa Claus in there. Number 9 with Madcap. Now this is one of the early issues that I picked up because Madcap had appeared in the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider series that I was reading at the time that I had started collecting comic books, and I really, really liked that character. So when I saw that he was in this issue, I figured, I have to pick it up. I didn't know anything about Madcap. I really didn't know a whole lot about She-Hulk at the time, but I didn't know a lot about Madcap, but I did like the whole idea of him. And this is one of the first issues that I picked up. And in this issue, I remember Madcap was trying to stay one step ahead of She-Hulk, so he went out and he bought a copy of She-Hulk #9 and was reading it to decide to figure out where she was so he could do what he needed to do. The problem was when he got to the part of the story where he was reading the story, the rest of the comic book was blank because the story hadn't happened yet. So he couldn't see what was coming. He could only see what had already happened. So that was really interesting. There's issue 10. And that's the other thing about her. I mean, the way they drew her, she was very feminine. And it didn't... like these days, when they draw a strong female character, they have to draw them very mannish. It's almost like they're embarrassed to have a strong female character look like a beautiful female character. Back when they were doing this book, though, I mean, she was strong. I mean, She-Hulk was super strong. But if you look at her, she wasn't drawn very mannish at all. Actually, not at all. She's a very gorgeous character. And that's one of the other things I really liked about her. She was beautiful, and she was classy. She was funny as hell, but she was strong. She's kind of goofy, but if you ticked her off, she'd kick your butt. And there you go. There's Howard the Duck. Back in the day when he was still kind of fun back in these days. Nowadays, what they've done with Howard is just kind of embarrassing. They've really turned him into just a sad parody of his former self. I'm realizing that a lot of these are newsstands. They're Howard the Duck. And part 4 of Forrest, this is the last Howard the Duck. I like that where it says in big letters there, Dr. Doom, and you look closer, it says featuring Dr. Doom's fifth cousin, who's a dentist. That's awesome. There's Nosferatu, the she-bat. I don't know. She really didn't do too much more after this. And Dorkham Asylum, so you got a little bit of a Batman parody there. It's pretty cool. Return of the Blonde Phantom. I like that. These covers, I like this one too. She's naked, but she's got a banner wrapped around her body. It says censored. This isn't going to be the last time that they've done something really extremely risque with her on the covers. You'll see in a moment. I'm sure everybody knows. And there's the repeat issue 24. This is the first one I picked up because they had Death's Head in it. There's with Hercules, Jercules. I never really cared for that character. Excalibur. Another group of characters. I had their first appearance, but never really got into them. And Grey Gargoyle. Bad puns. Gotta love it. Issue 28. Mephisto. In my favorite depiction of Mephisto. I like it when they draw him like this. I know John Romita Jr. draws him in a really weird, demonic way, which works for the character, but, you know. Sorry, Spider-Man. She-Hulk. Spider-Man, it's okay. It happens to everybody. Happens to every man at some point in his life. Hobgoblin. It's awesome because he's my favorite Spider-Man villain. And here's another one of those issues where they really kind of play with the idea that, she's a comic book. So John Byrne returns to the writer and he wants to take it back to issue 9. It's supposed to be issue 31. And they're like, no, put your ego back in the box. We're moving forward. Issue 32. What a revolt in development this is. I need to really get into reading these, this series to find out what's going on with some of these. Now this one should have a board on it, and I feel kind of negligent that it doesn't have a board on it, but this is one of those issues that is really kind of a big money issue right now. I think it's just because of the cover. Very, very hot. Now, this was, I think it was Vanity. Yeah, Vanity Fair did a cover when actress Demi Moore was pregnant, and she posed essentially nude on the cover. Her hand, she, basically in this pose, just kind of, I don't know, show off her pregnant belly or something. I don't know. I don't remember what the point of it was, but they parodied that with She-Hulk. And then we got issue 35. Special holiday issue, where she's drawn very, very sexy on this cover, I guess. Now, this is one of those covers this is one of those things I always like when they did this sort of, it's not really a gimmick, but it's just kind of a fun thing where they just kind of mess with the logo a little bit. They had to scrunch it up a little bit. It says Wolverine, the Punisher, Spider-Man starring in this issue. And then down here on the bottom it says, but you'll notice nothing is said about them actually being, or starring on this issue, rather. See that? It says on this issue, but she says, but you'll notice that there's nothing is said about them actually being in this issue. Little bait and switch there. I have no idea what's going on here. So don't get the wrong idea. I'm only doing this because it makes a great cover. That is awesome. And I know Marvel has reprinted some of their older covers. Here's the other one. And this one here, the big deal is, I mean, she's kind of naked. She's got the Comics Code stamp, kind of covering up her mommy bits. But in the first couple of pages of this issue, she is jump roping, and they put the lines in very strategic places so that you couldn't see, her jade jumblies, so to speak. So, but another great issue. Issue 41, 42. This is just, you could tell it's just such a fun series. Here's another one. It says, okay, I'll admit this cover has nothing to do with the story this month, but I've got to do something to sell this book. Just kind of acknowledging that, perhaps her book isn't selling as well as it should be. So they're going to do whatever, she's going to do whatever it takes to sell this book. So, sorry guys, the powers that be say I've been pushing it on my past few covers, so this is all you'll get this month. That's hilarious. The travesty of justice. There we go. And 46, we're almost done. 47. That's cool. Tune in for Punch and Jen. That Punch and Jen, that font that they're using there, that's the same font that they would use on Slapstick. That's Slapstick's logo. And there we go. Issue 48. 49. She looks kind of not fit there. And 50, an absolutely gorgeous foil cover. This is, these days, this would be considered as just like sexualizing the character, but the fact of the matter is this is a very classy cover. Nice little issue 50 there. That's a very classy cover showing her strength and her beauty for the Sensational She-Hulk. Love it. So we've only got about 10 issues to go. So there's the Savage She-Hulk Returns. And I got to read these so I can figure out what the heck is going on. 52. These are Adam Hughes covers. Adam Hughes is an amazing cover artist. I have some of his covers on Fairest, part of the Fables, one of the Fables spin-off books. But his cover there was really good. I really liked it. Savage She-Hulk, again. In 56, I wonder who that is. 57, Family Feud. 58. Of course, you realize this means war. One of Bugs Bunny's signature lines. 59. Gotta love that. Well, there's a appearance of Taskmaster. Gotta love it. And 60, her final issue. This is also a rebuy for me, because my first copy of this wasn't the best. I mean, the fact of the matter is back in these days when you got to your final issues of a run, excuse me, when you got to the final issues of any of these runs, the demand for the character, obviously, and the demand for the series would dwindle greatly. So they wouldn't print as many copies of the final issues. So it's hard to find them in any kind of condition, some of them. And for me, this was one of them. This is one of the last issues I remember needing, and I got it, and it was, the spine was beat all to hell and everything. And I finally got another copy of it. I think actually it's either this one or that first issue I got through CodyCon. I can't remember which, but I like how this one here, she's got both covers of Savage and Sensational #1. She says, okay, kids, we had a deal. Now hand over those X-Men comics because she's going to tear up your X-Men. Mm-hmm. But that's it. That was her final issue. That is the full run of the lovely and gracious Sensational She-Hulk. And I hope you enjoyed looking at my run of the Sensational She-Hulk. And again, that was a series that it took me a long time to get the last issue that I needed. Again, I really wish I'm sure if I went through my Instagram, I'd be able to find out, figure out which issue it was that I needed that was last. But it was great to be able to finally get that last issue and finish that run. It's an amazing run. It's got a lot of really great covers. It's kind of unfortunate that it's becoming, like, certain issues are becoming big money issues because of various things, because that's a run that I remember once I got that last issue, I was like, I would like to try to get a second run of this. And I kind of half-assed started looking into getting a second run for it, basically a reader copy run. But now the issues, some of them are so expensive to get, I don't want to just get them just to have reader copies, But that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed looking at my Sensational She-Hulk run. Tune in again next Friday. I'll have another full run Friday. And as always, I don't know what I'm going to do this far in advance. I'm surprised that I figured out doing Sensational She-Hulk in yesterday's video. So, but again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. And of course, if you do like what I do here on my full run Fridays or my Thursday haul review videos, please like, subscribe, comment down below, hit that notification button, and please share these videos. If you know somebody who likes, Death's Head, Lobo, Godzilla comics, Sensational She-Hulk, share the videos to them, let them know, because I like sharing what I have, and I always like seeing what other people have. It's great. It's a great thing that, as a comic book community that we used to do really a lot. I think we kind of moved away from that for various reasons, and I'm trying to do my best, my part, to get us back to basics of being comics fans and sharing what we have. There's a lot of amazing collections out there, way better than mine. Completely humbles my collection, and I love checking out other people's collections. But again, thanks for watching. I'll see everybody next Friday with another full run Friday, and next Thursday for another weekly haul, weekly review video. Have a great weekend.